Okay, boys and girls, so I've been talking to a lot of parents and kids, and they still mention the fact that they're feeling scared. And I know you and I have talked about feeling scared several times in our video lessons, and that feeling is still there for a lot of people. Things are different. People are worried about when things are going to get back to normal, or if they're going to be able to work, or if they have enough food in the house. Those are all things that are totally normal to be worried or scared about. Well, I'm sure that you've dealt with feeling scared yourself. And I'm going to tell you a quick story about a time when I was feeling scared. So, one time, my mom and I, when I was pretty little, about 6, went to a grocery store. And in one part of the grocery store, there were clothes, and the clothes were on these circular racks. And one thing you could do is, in these circular racks, you could climb in. If you were short enough, you could climb inside these circular racks, and you would be completely covered by all these clothes around you, and no one could see you. It's a perfect place to hide if you're trying to play hide and seek. Well, my mom was looking for some clothes for me, and I decided I would do a little hiding. So I snuck inside this clothes rack and ducked down, and you couldn't see me from the outside. Now, I waited for a few minutes. I was just trying to be silly. I wasn't trying to be bad. And I popped my head out just to kind of scare my mom. And when I looked, my mom wasn't there. Now, what do you think I started feeling? Yeah, I started feeling scared, almost a little bit of a panic. I was looking around, and one of the most frightening things is when you can't find your mom or your dad and you feel lost. So I came out and started walking around looking for my mom, calling for her. And I can tell you, it seemed like that lasted for hours. But in reality, it was probably only about a minute. Thankfully, my mom had tried to find me. She was looking up and down another aisle, and she heard me calling her, and she came back. Now, obviously I was very upset. I'm sure I cried, and I'm sure she gave me a hug. And then she probably talked to me about the fact that I shouldn't hide, especially in a store like that. So, I'm sure you've probably had an experience like this too. Maybe you've gotten lost. Maybe you can't find your parents or couldn't find your parents for a few minutes. Maybe you're worried about something. You weren't sure if something was going to happen. I know Eli and Quinn get worried about storms. They definitely don't like tornado sirens. And when we had the tornado come through this area, they were definitely very scared. So one of the things that you and I have talked about is when you're feeling scared, first realize that's what you're feeling. Maybe your heart is racing, maybe your hands are sweaty, maybe you feel like you're about to cry. Think about, oh, at this point, I'm feeling scared. And then think about what can you do. First, take a deep breath. A lot of times things aren't as bad as they seem in the moment. So after you take a deep breath, take a breath and calm down for a moment. And then think about who you can talk to. Talking to a trusted adult is always a good idea when you're feeling scared or worried. Let them know what you're scared about. There's nothing to be ashamed about. Even adults feel scared or worried sometimes. And ask the adult to help you to come up with a way to deal with feeling scared. Maybe you draw or listen to some calming music. Maybe you read a book or watch a silly show. But the big thing is, take a breath, figure out, hey, I'm feeling scared right now, and talk to someone older about it. Come up with a good strategy. Okay? All right, we're going to read a book about a boy who did feel scared. And when I was a kid, this is something that definitely scared me. So this is called The Dark by Lemony Snicket. Lazo was afraid of the dark. The dark lived in the same house as Lazo, a big place with a creaky roof, smooth, cold windows, and several sets of stairs. Looks like it could be really cozy or a little creepy there. Sometimes the dark hid in the closet. Sometimes it sat behind the shower curtain. So sometimes if you go in a hallway where the lights are off and there's a closet door, it looks like the dark's hiding out there. Or maybe your bathroom's dark and you look behind a shower curtain, it's all dark there. Now we know all you have to do is turn on a light for that dark to go away. But mostly it spent its time in the basement. All day long, the dark would wait in a distant corner, far from the squeaks and rattles of the washing machine, pressed up against some old damp boxes and chest of drawers nobody ever opened. At night, of course, the dark went out and spread itself against the windows and doors of Lazo's house. So the dark's kind of hiding out in the basement because that's where the lights isn't at. But when it's nighttime, that dark can kind of go wherever it wants to. But in the morning, the dark would be back in the basement, where it belonged. Lazo would peek at the dark every morning. "Hi," he would say. "Hi, dark." If I was his age, I probably wouldn't be saying hi to the dark. Lazo thought that if he visited the dark in the dark's room, maybe the dark wouldn't come visit him in his room. But one night, if you notice, he's got a night light and a flashlight. It did. "Lazo," the dark said, in the dark. The voice of the dark was as creaky as the roof of the house, and as smooth and as cold as the windows. And even though the dark was right next to Lazo, the voice seemed very far away. "What do you want?" asked Lazo. "I want to show you something," said the dark. "In here?" "No," said the dark. "Here?" No, said the dark. "Downstairs." So Lazo thought maybe the closet or behind the shower curtain, but he's going to show him in the basement. "Downstairs?" "Yes," said the dark. In Lazo's living room was the biggest window in the house. Lazo looked out at all the dark outside. Above him the roof creaked, and he closed his eyes. Now the dark was all Lazo could see. No, said the dark again, "not here. Down here." "In the basement?" asked Lazo. "Yes," said the dark. Lazo had never once dared to come to the dark's room at night. "Come closer," said the dark. Oh, you notice the drawers right there. Lazo came closer. "Even closer," said the dark. You might be afraid of the dark, but the dark is not afraid of you. That's why the dark is always close by. The dark peeks around the corner and waits behind the door, and you can see the dark up in the sky almost every night, gazing down at you as you gaze up at the stars. Without a creaky roof, the rain would fall on your head, and without a smooth, cold window, you could never see outside, and without a set of stairs, you can never go into the basement, which is where dark spends most of its time. Without a closet, you'd have nowhere to put your shoes, and without a shower curtain, you'd splash all over the bathroom. And without the dark, everything would be light, and you wouldn't ever know if you needed a light bulb. "Bottom drawer," said the dark. "What?" "Bottom drawer," said the dark. "Open the bottom drawer." "Thank you," said Lazo. You're welcome, said the Dark. Now I like this picture here because it looks like the chest of drawers is like alive, and it has the lights, and the lights almost look like his teeth, and the doorknob or the knobs almost look like his eyes. So the Dark didn't want to be scary. The Dark wanted to help Lazo, and he helped Lazo by giving him some light bulbs. By the time Lazo got back into bed, the Dark was no longer in his room, except when he closed his eyes to go to sleep. The next morning, Lazo visited the Dark in the basement. "Hi," he said. "Hi, Dark." The Dark didn't answer, but the bottom drawer was still open, so it looked like something in the corner was smiling. The Dark kept on living with Lazo, but it never bothered him again. So that book could have been really scary. It was talking about going in the basement and it was dark and Lazo was worried about not being able to see. But really, the Dark wasn't quite so scary after all. And sometimes the things that we're scared about really aren't that scary in the end. Well, I look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow. We'll try our science and art experiments. We'll see how that goes. It'll be a new thing for us to do online. I hope you guys are able to go outside today. Have a good one. Talk to you later.